Hi, my name is James. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Connect More, and today I'm going to be giving you a little demo overview of our beta product as it stands right now in July 2021. We're adding new features the whole time, so if you're seeing this in the future, we might be able to do some extra things compared to what we can do now. This is what we're doing right now. So, off the bat, I'm going to log into the platform. If you're not logged in, you're basically going to be presented with a login screen. What I've done here already, I'll disconnect it for a sec, is basically what we say is that if you connect your Facebook account, you'll increase your limits with us. It just allows us to get more data from the Facebook API for you. So I'm going to come in here. There's a little pop-up at the moment that I'm clicking through to basically allow the connection to my Facebook account. And that's done. Now, page is refreshed and we're connected. So now, when you log in first, basically you're presented with this little view here, the profile. Now, on the profile is where you add in competitors. So we work based on analyzing groups of similar businesses across social media. So every client group is basically a mapping. If you're an agency, it's like for each client to your agency, you'd have one client group with Connect More. And if you're an in-house marketing team, for each brand or each geography that you market to, you basically have a client group. You treat those brands as essentially separate clients, as I'm sure you guys are familiar with if that's what you get up to. So right off the bat, we have this default client group here. Now I'm going to add in, first off, I'm going to edit here and I'm going to add in Done Stores as my clients, Instagram and Twitter, right? Just as an example. Now, we're also going to add in some competitors here. So we have the Done Stores in here already. And now what we can do is we can add in some similar businesses. So we have Tesco, Lidl, and Aldi, right? And then what we can also do in here is, actually we'll leave it as that. I was going to add in some extra competitors, but it's grand for now. It'll actually be interesting. It'll be more interesting to show you something based on not adding some extra in a second, and a cool way you can use the product. So basically that's grand. Now, like I said, for each client group, it's really a mapping to a client. So what we can do here is, if we want, we can create a new client group and we call it my client Nike. So. And what we'll do here is we'll just say this is Nike, right? And add this as a group. Now, so we have a second client group here. We already have the two Nike accounts in there. And then, if we wanted to, we could add in Adidas. Now, that's great and all. We have the accounts logged in and all that. If we wanted to, what we can also do is add a little time zone offset here. So basically, if you want to compare accounts that are based in New York, LA, Dublin, Australia, anything like that, basically you can compare brands across the world, and basically we'll equalize and localize the time specifically to GMT as a default. So you can throw in here, say if we want to say this brand is in, say Adidas runs on New York time, right, their social media team, we can throw in a time zone here, offset of -5 hours, and that will get us to New York time, and that will influence some data on the dashboard, as you see in a second, right? So that's the thing. We've got our two groups here. We've got our Done Stores group, and with the mostly Twitter clients, one Instagram account, and then we also have this other sports brands group. So you can add in extra groups as you're going, and basically, map them to each of your clients or your in-house brands or whatever, and you can kind of group the data that way. And we'll analyze that group of data will all be analyzed as one big thing to figure out the trends and the performance of different topics and hashtags when they're posting, all that good stuff, as you'll be able to see here now on the dashboard. So we've got the default group here, which is like the shopping brands account. We've got Twitter stats, and we have Instagram stats. So you can see here for Twitter, Lidl does a lot better than Done Stores, Aldi, or Tesco, right? And we've got a little heat map here where you can see throughout the week when they're posting, they get the best engagement, what their engagement rate is each particular day and each particular hour. And then the heat map is like cross-referencing that data, so you can pick out specific points during the week where there is high engagement. Now, in terms of hashtags, free cupboard is a hashtag that Aldi or Lidl were running in protest of Marks and Spencer's getting rid of that Caterpillar cake, and then the Aldi or Lidl branded cake came out, and Marks and Spencer's might have sued them or something. I'm not sure exactly what went on there, but it was a bit of a semi-viral kind of marketing campaign, this free cupboard thing. So that did quite well. We got other hashtags like Aldi Mystery Cashier, Aldi Trick or Treat, hashtag Middle Aisle, hashtag Night in Lidl, which I think was to do with Christmas last time out, where they were saying everything came alive in the show. Anyway, point being, we can see all these different hashtags, the engagement rates, all that stuff. We also dynamically get the topics. So you can see here, a topic that we've picked out here is the Sunday Christmas So these aren't actually hashtagged or anything. We just have a little AI model running that can dynamically kind of pick out topics. So we picked out Dunnes Stores there as a topic of a tweet. This Thursday, this Christmas, basically June 6th is another topic, all the stuff for Father's Day. So it's pretty cool, all the stuff that we can kind of pick out. Now, in terms of Instagram here, we just have a single account added for Instagram. So you can see the data is a lot more kind of sparse. We got Dunnes Stores by themselves. We got a heat map when they post. They had one particular post that did quite well. This where they posted throughout the week or whatever. And then, different hashtags and topics that Dunnes Stores specifically are using. So, hashtag iconic bronze does quite well as far as Dunnes Stores content goes. The toy show is probably their best performing topic, and I assume the toy show was on it Tuesday, 24th November at 10 p.m. Irish time, right? So we pick out topics in that regard. Inglot as well is another topic, and once again, like the Dean Dublin Bar, Dean Hotel, Sophie's. But you can see here, like the data is quite sparse when you only have a single account. So just real quick, what we're going to do is we're going to come back in here to this default group, and we're just going to add in a few extra accounts. Just enriches the data. Now, if we don't already have the account in the system, it takes anywhere from a couple of seconds up to maybe a minute to actually get the data. Now, these are standard kind of demo accounts we use, so we already have the data. So if the data's already been gotten anywhere in the system, straight away we'll grab it. But if it's not in the system, it takes anywhere from a couple of seconds up to a minute, depending on the platform and how busy we are. Now, if we come back here now to the Instagram, once this loads up, you'll see it's after updating, and the heat map already looks a lot better. The days of the week look a bit better, the times of the day. You see here the relative performance. So Spar is actually doing the best on Instagram, whereas Lidl's doing the best on Twitter. So that's kind of interesting enough already. And now when we look at the hashtags and the topics they've updated, between all the accounts, you can see the hashtags and the topics that really do the best. So hashtag spread the goodness seems to be the best performing. We have Jack Daniels, Valentine's Day, all that good stuff. So it's pretty cool. Now, if you're a marketer and we're in July, you're potentially planning your content for November, right? For around Black Friday, we'll say kind of, Thanksgiving, if that's something that you do marketing for. But Black Friday certainly is something that a lot of brands care about. So what I've done here is basically updated this so that we're going to filter on data just specifically for November last year, so November 2020. It takes a second to update, and when it does, all the data on the dashboard is going to be updated. See there, it's all updating specifically for November. So these hashtags have changed. Kevin the Carrot is here now. We have topics Christmas, Aldi, Ireland, stuff like that. Over on Instagram, we have, spread the goodness is actually a topic from around that time. So it did it's still there. But you can see hashtag competition is there. Tesco for Temple Street. These have kind of all updated down along the line, and the topics still updated as well in terms of just picking up Paul Costello as a topic. It's obviously the Dunnes Stores brand. So you can use this really for figuring out the hashtags, the topics, when you should be posting to get the best engagement from the people that you want to engage. If you don't want to use shopping brands, you can use sports brands, you can use tech companies if you're a tech marketer. You can really use anything. It's completely localized to your specific industry based on what accounts you give us. And you can also, it's specifically localized to your geography based on, putting in that time zone offset. And you can really get some really cool insights about essentially any data on social media, or any company data on social media. We don't do personal data. Very important to mention. So that's kind of cool. Now that's half the product, right? The other half of the product is the Analyze Posts section. Now, so here what we're doing basically is you can submit posts to us. So if I should have this prepared, but we'll write this text here. Just so we have some text that the supermarket brands would actually use. So, and this week's freezer favorite, Aldi Top Swap winner is, I think we all need a cooldown, to be fair, and the image that kind of went with that. So instead of using that image, we're just going to use the image that we have saved, just in the just to expedite things slightly. And we're going to use the default group, which is once again that group, and we're going to check against Twitter data, right? So now if we hit process, what we're doing in the background here is basically we're getting the text that was input, we're analyzing that versus the text of all the tweets that have been given by our competitors. We're getting the image, and we're finding similar images within the data set, basically, and seeing how well they've performed. And basically what we come out with at the end is we can tell you your engagement rate and your competitors' engagement rate. So you can see, I think we said Dunnes Stores is our brand within this. You see Dunnes Stores is actually a good bit worse than some of their competitors. And what we've done basically is we've gotten the text score and we've compared it versus you and your competitors. So this text score is actually quite good. The image score is quite low. So if you look at this is the image. So it's not very particularly engaging, I suppose. We're working on more and more explaining why stuff does well or doesn't do well. For now, we're showing you what doesn't do well. And the overall post score against Dunn Store's posts, it did average, but against the competitors' posts, it came back as doing quite well. So that's interesting. Okay, now in terms of an insight into kind of some of the data that we're using to work out this stuff, you can look at the deeper analysis section, right? So first off, we've got this alternative words table. So you can see here, we've scored words that exist within the data set. We get rid of words that don't really have much meaning, and we also don't do hashtags yet. That's coming in the next month or two. But you can see here, for example, need, want, and needs are three similar words. So need, want, and needs. And you can actually see want scores a lot better than needs. So, and even needs does a small better, but want in particular clearly does an awful lot better than need as a word in the data set. So it's pretty interesting. So maybe if we swapped in the word want instead of the word need, that would return as doing quite better overall on the text. Might be a very high text, and the overall post score will go higher as well. Now, in terms of the similar images, what we actually do is we do a little reverse image search, if you're familiar with that on Google. And as part of that, basically, I was checking how long the recording was. So it's 12 minutes, so it's not too bad. Basically, as part of that, we basically score the similar images, and we divide them up. We get the best performing images and the worst performing images that are similar. So we have this top-down view on the plate here, remember? So now looking at this, you can see they're all kind of like top-down-ish pictures of food. The engagement rate of the different ones. So these are the best performing ones, and you can click in here and you can see the post. So here's something to smile about. You make your own decision why that's so high performing, potentially because it makes you smile yourself, right? And you see here we've got a veggie goods selection of alfresco favorites in store. It's Easter. That's actually a video once you click into it. So we get the thumbnails if it's video content. Otherwise we just do the images, right? And then we have some of the worst performing similar images. So once again, the chicken tonight, cracking enchilada, wraps tomorrow, get recipes and more here. Easter is the time. So basically, point being, you can kind of see the images, like what similar images that have been posted, what's doing well, what's doing not so well, and the differences between them. Like I said, we are working the whole time to kind of get more. Instead of presenting you the data, we want to, as we're going forward, we're going to be suggesting more and more, like this is why this image is doing well, and this is why this image isn't doing well. This is why this text is doing well, and this is why this other text isn't doing well. And we're building more of that into the product the whole time. So basically, that's the product at the moment as it stands. Hopefully you found this interesting, informative. If you do like what you see, you think it'd be interesting for you personally, or for one of maybe someone else working in marketing, working in social media, please do get in touch. Send this on to whoever. And really, we're in closed beta at the moment. If you sign up, basically, if you get in touch, we'll give you a demo of the product, and we can let you have access to it from that. We'll be moving to open beta hopefully in September, which will be more widespread usage and all that good stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a Friday evening. I don't know if you can tell, I'm kind of sweating from the sun that's coming in on me. We're in a heat wave at the moment, but yeah, hopefully this is informative. You enjoyed it, and if you like the product, get in touch and have a lovely weekend, and we'll talk to you very soon.